Alright, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Casey, and today's reading, I wanted it to just be super positive. What messages of encouragement that you need right now? No matter where you are in life, if you're actively working towards something, or maybe you're just feeling a little secure in certain areas, what do you need to hear that will just encourage you, make you feel a little bit reassured, a little bit more positive, a little bit more excited, a little bit more optimistic? That's what I want to bring you today. So I have 3 different readings for you to choose from. We have pile 1 with the desk card and the blue lace agate, pile 2 with the ladder card and the angelite, and pile 3 with the chair-filled card, and then I'm not sure what kind of gem this is. I try my best to take pictures of all of them so I can keep track of the names, but this one just didn't have a label, but I felt really drawn to get it. So I'll also zoom in so that you can read what the cards say to help you better choose which one feels right to you. There will be timestamps down in the description box below so you can quickly jump to whichever reading that you want to listen to, but go ahead and pause, figure that out, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, pile 1. If you chose this pile, then this is the reading for you. Now, off the bat, like I said in the intro, I wanted this to be a reading all about encouraging messages, reassurance that you need right now. And the first 2 cards that came out were not the greatest, so I was like, okay, maybe these are what the problems are that you're currently going through, and let me get cards to support that. So it seems like the problems that you have right now are twofold. The first one being, you have the Spear card, and this says, heartache over what you no longer have. To me, this could be a sign that maybe there was a breakup, maybe there was a job loss, maybe there was a really big shift in your life, maybe you lost a loved one. It seems like there has been some change, some upheaval that has caused you to really shift your perspective on life. And something that I've heard often when people talk about grief, or even if it's not like a death, it's like a breakup, you go through a period where you have to grieve not only that relationship or that person, but you have to grieve the version of yourself that you were before, because you can no longer go back to that version of yourself. And I feel like you're in this grief process where you're adjusting, you're trying to figure out, how do I go back to life as normal? It just doesn't feel right anymore. I feel like you're going through this time of upheaval, of unrest, unhappiness, dissatisfaction, and it's, like I said, it could be from a number of things. Maybe you lost a friend, or maybe it was a job, or I don't know, maybe there was some upheaval that happened and you had to move from a place that you really enjoyed living in, and you had to move back with your parents because maybe there was some sort of financial issue. And I actually do see a financial issue here. I got the inkling that was a separate matter, but it could be intertwined in this. But nonetheless, what I'm seeing is there's just this feeling of unhappiness, and also like a lack of assurance. I feel like I don't know if lost is the right word, but it's almost like there's anxiety over the future. Like, where do I go from here? How do I pick up the pieces? It just feels like when there's chaos in your life and you're not really sure what direction to go next. And I want to bring you that reassurance. So I'm glad that you clicked on this reading, because it does seem like there's going to be some concrete stuff that I can give you to hopefully help you. Starting off with this Valley card, it says, deep personal strength and peace that assure success. When I'm looking at this Valley card and I look at the picture, I almost imagine like you were at the top of this mountain, things were going well, and then something caused you to tumble down, and now you're at the very bottom. And the thing about, like, when people get lost, what they always tell you is, like, climb to the highest thing so you can get a view of the area around you, because you can't really see where you are when you're in the valley. And I feel like right now you are in that valley. You're feeling a little lost. Maybe you're beneath the trees. You don't know where to go next. You're feeling scared and hurt. Like, maybe you're all scuffed up. Maybe you got hurt. But what you need to hear, and I don't know how much assurance this is going to be to you, but it seems like there's going to be a lot of strength and a lot of lessons learned from this period in your life. And I know, like, when you're in the middle of it, like, you don't want to be grateful for lessons. You're like, I'd rather just have lived a peaceful, happy life. I don't want the lessons. I just wanted everything to be okay. But I hate to break it to you, you're in the middle of it now. You're in the valley, whether you like it or not. That period of your life that you lived before, no matter how bad you want to go back to it, it's over. And it sucks to hear, but it's time to accept and move past it, because the only way that you can make it out of this is by sitting in that pain and just being like, okay, I can't go back to how things were. But thinking over the past and beating myself up and feeling sad about it isn't going to make this journey any easier. And you're going to be going through this period for a while where you're in this valley and you're trying to find your way out. But I want you to know that you are going to come out of this on the other side better than you ever have been. Like, truly, not only will you make it back to a place in life where you feel that same kind of satisfaction or happiness that you had before, but you will come out twice as strong, twice as wise. I feel like there is so much to be learned in this new period of your life, but it starts off with a fall. I'm almost having the picture of the Fool card from the tarot coming to mind. If you look at the Fool, you see there's this like happy-go-lucky person who's a little too close to the edge and then they fall over. But if you look at the tarot, specifically the major arcana as a whole, the Fool is the one that kicks off that entire journey of learning, of growth, of gaining wisdom. And by the end, they become the happy-go-lucky version of themselves that they were at the beginning by turning into the World card. But now they have grown into a much wiser version of themselves. And it's hard to explain if you don't know the tarot well. I highly encourage you, like, look up on YouTube the journey of the Fool and sit down and watch what it means to travel through those cards as a story. Because I think that's what you're going to be going through. And we all go through that in life in different ways, but I truly see that you've kicked off this next chapter of your life starting by falling down. And it sucks. It hurts. Like, it's not a happy place to be, but I want to assure you that you will find your way out. And not only will you find your way out, but you will find your way out a stronger, happier, more vibrant person than you ever thought that you could be. And I know it's hard to see right now, because sometimes you just gotta sit in the suck and just accept it. That's the first step, and that sucks. No, but you don't want to sit at rock bottom and be like, okay, I'm happy at rock bottom. You don't have to be happy, but you have to accept that, okay, this is where I am now. And the good thing about rock bottom is there's nowhere to go but up. Now, like I said at the beginning, this reading is twofold. There is another part of this, and what I see here is something that I can actually give you like concrete advice on, something that you can actually control and do so you feel a little bit more control in this chaos that's going on in your life right now. And the cards that you have here are the Bear card and the Dog barking card. The Bear card talks about danger, especially in money matters. If you have financial stress or financial burdens on you right now, maybe you have payments that, like I said, maybe if you lost your job or you had to move and there's this sudden upheaval and you're not sure how you're going to make ends meet, I highly encourage you. The Dog barking card talks about advice from a friend. Reach out to other people during this time because you cannot shoulder this burden alone. I feel like where you are right now, not only is your life like you're in the valley, you're among the trees, you can't really see, you don't have a good vantage point, you're very tunnel visioned right now, you're very worried and stressed out. Not only are you emotionally stressed out, but because of this tunnel vision, you're not able to fix everything at once. And one thing that can be helped is this financial stress. Please reach out to somebody who can help you make a plan, somebody that can help sort things out for you. I know it's hard to reach out to others and say, hey, I'm really going through it right now. I don't know what to do. I have all this financial stress, but I also have this stress of like moving and all this stuff. Can you please help me out? Like, I just need some perspective or maybe somebody to talk to so they can help me see things more clearly. Because you yourself right now, I feel like you're not seeing things super clearly. And I don't say that in a bad way to like look at you, look down on yourself. Like, I say this to give you 100% truth. You're going through it right now. And if you try to shoulder this entire burden on your own, you're not going to be able to do it. But I get the sense that there is somebody in your life, or maybe multiple somebodies. Maybe it's a family member, a sibling, a parent, a best friend, a cousin. There is somebody in your life who you can reach out to help. And I'll say this from the perspective of the person that people sometimes go to for help, especially in money matters. I'm very young. Me and my friends, we are quite young, but I am somebody that's always been very interested in like financial things, financial literacy and stuff. And so recently I was like trying to help my friends get set up with high yield savings accounts and their retirement accounts, their Roth IRAs, and what does this term mean, and like how do I start saving for this, and what's the difference between this account and this account. Sure, they could have just gone on YouTube and learned all that. They could have maybe asked their parents, but it's a lot easier to just go to somebody that can like say it in layman's terms, somebody that's on your level. It's like, yeah, this is what I did, this is how I learned this, these are some resources that I know. And that didn't take me a lot of time. And I enjoyed helping them. I enjoy helping people get ahead and feel a little bit more financially literate, because finances can be some of the most stressful things in the world, especially for you. Like if you recently lost a job and then now everything that you had to worry about before, you have to worry about tenfold because you're not sure where the money is coming in, trying to organize that all on your own while also having all this other stress in your life is gonna just overburden you. So please reach out to somebody, anybody. They don't need to be like a math whiz or somebody really great with money. Sometimes you just need somebody who can help you plan out a little bit. Maybe it looks like you go to the bank and get a financial planner or something like that. Or maybe it's even going on YouTube. There's so many resources on YouTube when it comes to finances. It's really important to do that. And I see advice from a friend is something that's going to help you a lot. Even if it's not necessarily financial advice, just advice of like, man, I'm going through all this stuff right now. Like, what do you think I should do? Or at the very least be like, am I crazy? Like, is this all happening because of me? Like, I feel like you just need another perspective, because when you're in the middle of it, you can't see the full perspective. You're tunnel vision, you're stressed out. You've got all this burden on you. You need to find a way to unload it. And don't see it as you're loading it onto somebody else's shoulders and burdening them. Maybe it's, okay, we sit down together and I take this burden off my back and I put it on the ground between us. And for a moment, it's off my shoulders and like we can just stare at this thing that I've got going on and just talk about it. I know I'm using a lot of analogies here, but I'm trying to help you because I see that your life feels like chaos right now. There's been a major upheaval, and I want to give you some concrete plans of how you can best make it through. And I want to start by giving you a full perspective of saying, like, things are not going back to how they were. I know you wish that they could, but they can't. This thing has been upheaved, and trying to put it back into place in this carnage is not going to work. You need to wait. It's like, sorry, I know I'm throwing so many analogies at you, but the Tower card in the tarot comes to mind. This card is often described as like a faulty tower. Think of something that's like a building that should have been condemned because it was going to fall down at any moment. And suddenly it falls down and then everybody's like crying, everybody's freaking out, oh my god, the building fell down. But in reality, it's good that it fell down because now we can clear that space away so we can build something better, build something that is actually meant to stand. That's what's going on with your life right now. The building has fallen. Everything is in shambles. But instead of trying to rebuild from the rubble, you need to sweep away the rubble. You need to start fresh. You need to start with a plain, blank canvas. And that's what your life is going to look like. You know, obviously I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you advice here. But this is an analogy that's coming to mind. Not really an analogy, but for example, if you lost your job and you're trying to worry about all these different payments, one of the best things that you might be able to do is move out of your apartment, move in with your parents for a while. I know nobody wants to do that, but it's a lot better than getting into debt over your ego, because debt is a lot harder to climb out of and it's basically digging you into a hole further. Maybe it looks like, you know, if you're still making payments on your car, selling that car, trading it in, and buying a cheaper one in cash. This is something, honestly, I feel like the majority of people should do. Everybody wants the new, shiny, fancy car with all the gadgets and gizmos, but you can go on Facebook Marketplace and get something like a Toyota 4Runner that's gonna run longer than you will live. You can get that for like $2,000-$3,000 cash. It is fully paid for. You don't need to worry about a loan. You don't need to worry about recurring payments. Easy, done, title signed over. Maybe it's not pretty, but it's a lot better than debt. I feel like this is like one of those things where you just look at the different areas of your life and you see, okay, finances aren't doing great. What can I cut out so that, you know, sometimes we got to cut off a little bit of fat so that we can just kind of survive and weather the storm. I know it sucks. It's not pretty. It's not happy, but like I said, you're in the valley right now. And in order to climb out, you need to start cutting off things that are not serving you, cutting off things that are going to overburden you. So apply this to the area of your life that it makes sense in. I'm coming at this from the perspective of like financial burdens, because it does say that there's financial stuff going on. But if there's additional issues like family drama, that's going to be something that you have to figure out on your own. But the first step is realizing that, okay, the tower has fallen. We need to get out of the denial stage. We need to reach acceptance so that we can start rebuilding. And like I said, the best thing that you can do for yourself right now is find people that you can trust to lean on. And don't see it as burdening them, because truly, the people in your life, if they really love you, they don't want to see you struggle. They don't want to see you carry this burden alone. And just asking for advice, asking for a shoulder to cry on, asking for somebody to lean on a little bit, that's not putting your burden onto them. That's saying, hey, I'm human, I'm going through it, and I need somebody to help me along the way. And trust me, somebody that loves you is going to want to help you. They're not going to want to watch you struggle. And, you know, maybe it's reaching out to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. Like I have somebody that I became really close friends with in college in just like freshman year, and that was like 3 years ago. Like we don't talk very often, but every so often she'll reach out to me and she's like, hey, I'm going through this. How did you get through this period of your life like that? And I'll give her the advice. It takes me like maybe 10 minutes of just texting, and it makes me feel good to know that I helped somebody else. A lot of the time we think that we might be burdening people by giving them our problems, but I'll tell you a secret. Everybody just wants to be of use to others. That's why people like to help. That's why people like to donate. It makes them feel good to know that they're helping somebody else. It makes them feel good to know that they have a use and a purpose. And I tell you this because I don't want you to feel guilty for feeling the need to reach out. I promise you, they get something out of it as well. So think of it from that perspective if you feel guilty. But pile one, that is what I'll leave you with. It's only 4 cards. I wish I had more for you, but if you want a personal reading on your specific situation, I do have personal readings in the description down below. You can click the link to my shop. But I truly wish you the best through this. You're weathering a big storm. I see you're really going through it, but I want to reassure you, you will make it out. It'll take some time. You'll be in survival mode for quite a while, but when you get out of this, you will be so much stronger, so much wiser, and so much better equipped for the future than you ever have been before. And I really, really encourage you, lean on some friends, ask for advice, reach out to others. You're going to need it. Like, it's not a, like, hey, maybe you should. I'm telling you, reach out to some people. Even if it's like your parent or a sibling, reach out. Trust me, it's what you need, and it will help you a ton. So, pile one, that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. All right, pile two. If you chose the Angelite, then this is the reading for you. I've got some interesting things going on here. Specifically, you had 2 month of the year cards come out, which is pretty rare. If you don't know the deck that I'm using, there are 200 cards in this deck, and there's only 12 months in the year. So if you got one of those 12 cards, it obviously has some significance to the timing. I really keep these decks completely shuffled up. And the fact that you have 2 months coming out, I feel like this specific time is really important. I'm filming this in March of 2024, and you had the February and March cards come out. Keep in mind that this is for whenever you're watching it, but if you're watching it right when I'm posting it, I wanted to bring to your attention the February and March timetable because it seems like there is some sort of like family or friend issue that originated in this time or you're currently going through in this time. But if you're watching this like a year from now and February and March is about to come up, or you're currently in February and March of like 2025, etc., it could be that time is important somehow. Or maybe you have something planned for February and March of next year. But keep in mind, that's that. It could also be maybe these are the birth months of important people around you. But nonetheless, let me get into it. So, starting with the grasshopper card, this one says situations in the balance that require careful handling. And then you have the dog card close up that says pleasure with a close friend, and the mice card that says discord among friends or family. I'm putting these together in my mind, and I'm imagining that there might be some sort of like friend group you're in, that there's some issues going on in, or some family issues where there's discord. I'm having like idea coming to mind. This is just like an analogy. It doesn't necessarily need to be what you're necessarily going through. But I have a very close friend who their family dynamic was set up a very specific way, where there was, the main matriarch who was the grandmother. She was the eldest. When she passed away, there were the three sisters below who, now that the family dynamic had been shaken up, the oldest of those three sisters tried to kind of like take control of the family, but it didn't really work out very well, and the whole family dynamic kind of got shaken up. And I'm kind of getting the vibe that that might be something that's going on with you, with your family, or with your friend group. Like, for some reason, the dynamic, the structure has been shaken up, and relationships are kind of changing around. The way people view each other is changing around, or maybe there was some sort of big financial storm that you recently went through. Honestly, financial stress or any sort of large stress can really impact family or friend groups, and family dynamics, relationship dynamics. Or maybe it looks like there was a baby born, and now there's two people that are new parents, and their dynamic with the rest of the family is shifting. Whatever it is, it seems like there's some big shifts in a major relationship group in your life. Like I said, whether it's a friend group or your family, things are really changing around, specifically in this period of February and March. And you're being asked to take things very carefully, to not shake things up too much, and specifically getting advice from a close friend who's like outside of this. So I'll kind of give you like an analogy of that. Like, when me and my current girlfriend first started dating, we were all part of like this very big friend, or not very big, very close friend group, and we still are. Like, we're all very closely interlocked. But that changing dynamic of the two of us entering a relationship together kind of altered the friend group dynamic. Not permanently, but there was a period where things were kind of weird. We were getting a little bit adjusted, and our friends came to us and basically said like, "Hey, things have been a little weird here. Like, we should talk about this." And we were like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't notice this. I'm sorry, it completely went over our heads," and we fixed it. But something that they did is, they went to their moms and asked their moms for advice about this, because we've all known each other for years and years and years. And maybe this doesn't make a lot of sense to you, but I really liked the fact that they were able to go to their moms, especially because their moms knew us. Our friend group is very odd because we've all known each other for a very long time, but my girlfriend and my best friend are actually related. So it's hard to explain. It's very connected. We're all very connected with one another. But all this to say, if you have a close friend who's not directly involved in this dynamic, or maybe a close family member who's not directly involved in whatever dynamic this is, get some advice from them, because they might help you see the full picture a little better, especially if they know these people, and they can say, "Yeah, I see how you're seeing things from this perspective, but knowing these people, maybe they meant it this way, or maybe they were doing blah, blah, blah." Whatever, because I feel like you're in the midst of this dynamic, and things are shaking up, things are changing, and it's putting a lot of stress on your life. It's putting a lot of worry on your life, and it's going to be really important if you have somebody else outside of it that you can lean on, that you can talk to. Maybe you can let off some steam by talking to them, or maybe it'll just help you get a better perspective of everything that's going on by saying like, "Hey, am I crazy? Is this weird? Is this dynamic uncomfortable, or am I just feeling weird about the changing times?" And with the grasshopper, with it saying situations in the balance that require careful handling, with it saying careful handling, I really get the sense that because of this shifting dynamic and how you might feel about it, it's very easy for people to blow up or say things that they don't necessarily mean and end up affecting relationships negatively for an extended period of time. Maybe there's somebody close to you who did something that might have really hurt you. Instead of immediately lashing out, you're being asked to kind of like talk to your friend, get a different perspective, because especially coming from me, being an Aries rising and an Aries moon and a Cancer sun, like, it's very easy for me to blow up and say things that I don't mean. And I did that a lot when I was younger. But as I grew older, I had to realize, like, take some time to settle to yourself before you say something that you regret, because it's really easy to completely alter relationships by saying something in the heat of the moment. So I feel like that's why you're getting all this, is to say, like, you might have an immediate reaction to what somebody says or what somebody does, and it really angers you or really hurts you or really upsets you. Specifically, if you get the feeling like, why are you leaving me out? Or why are you prioritizing this thing over me? You might want to step back, talk to somebody else, get another perspective, because I'm not saying to not be hurt over these things, but I'm saying that it's more important that you don't permanently damage a relationship because of maybe your perception is slightly off, or maybe you think that they did something with bad intentions when really it was like they weren't intending to hurt you, if that makes sense. All I want to say is, during this period of time, specifically February or March or whatever arose out of this time period, things are really shifting and changing. Imagine like an earthquake. You're trying to like pick up all the stuff in the middle of the earthquake so that they don't break. It'd be a lot easier if you could wait until the earthquake is over and then try rebuilding things, because things are shifting and changing dramatically, and like the card says, it requires careful handling. I feel like these are new situations and dynamics that you've never encountered before, and it's uncomfortable. It's always uncomfortable when there's sudden change. But sometimes you just need to let the change pass. Things may go back to how they used to before, or maybe not. But it's better to wait until things have settled down and until your emotions have settled down before you start saying or doing things or trying to bridge gaps with people. Especially if this is because of like a loss of a family member, or maybe two family members have had like a new baby or a new relationship. They are adjusting in their own right, and this adjustment in their life is affecting your life, and there's just so much change. It's very chaotic. The best advice that I can give you is reach out to somebody outside this dynamic, get some advice, get some more perspective, allow things to settle, and treat it very carefully. And your emotions are very valid. The way that you react, the way that you feel about these things is extremely valid. You are allowed to feel the way that you feel. But the actions that come out of that, make sure that those are actions that you're really going to stand on a year, 5 years, 10 years from now, because sometimes things that we say or do can't be taken back. So I just want to give you that, and especially reach out to a close friend. I think it's really going to help you deal with what's going on, get a better perspective. And it's okay to feel the way that you feel. You feel the way that you feel for a reason. You don't need to be upset about yourself for it, but it is important what you decide to do next. So Pile 2, that is everything that I have for you. I truly wish you the best in this situation. I know it was kind of vague and I was just using a lot of analogies, and it's because I don't know the details of what's going on here. This is a general reading. It's probably different for all of you, the exact intricacies, but I truly wish you the best in this storm. It seems like you're going through a bit of a chaotic period, but I know that you'll make it out on the other side. Sometimes there's just major changes that we need to go through, but you're going to make it out. So thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Okay, Pile 3, last but certainly not least, I have a lot of information for you. Like, there's just so much going on here. Usually cards are very cohesive, and I do think that yours are all talking about the same sort of thing, but like different parts of the same thing. I really think that this is talking about your career path. I don't know what it is that you're pursuing, but I get the sense for the majority of you that you might be interested in entrepreneurship, going out on your own. Maybe you have a really great idea and it's something that you want to pursue. For others, it's just like, I get the sense that you're working really hard towards something. Maybe, I don't know, for some reason, a doctor is coming to mind, but it doesn't need to be a doctor. The reason that doctor comes to mind is just because they go through so much schooling, so many different tests. If you don't know, in America, what doctors go through, not only do you go through your bachelor's, which is 4 years, but you have to go through med school, and then you have to be an intern, and then you have to do your residency, and then you have to blah, blah, blah. I don't know the exact details, but it's a long time, and throughout that time, there's dozens of extremely difficult tests, and at the end of all that, you then have to, like, match into a specific program, and, like, it's extremely, extremely competitive. The reason that I bring that up is because one of the cards that you have here is the cat card, and this one says a two-faced friend. There might be somebody around you who is trying to encourage you in the wrong direction, or even if, ooh, like I'm getting like the chills, like I'm getting like, ooh, like if I had hair on the back of my neck, like it would all be standing up. Like there's somebody around who's very shifty, very untrustworthy, and it's not that they're necessarily a bad person, but even good people can be very envious and very jealous, and they can kind of push evil eye your way. If you don't know what evil eye is, it's something that I personally believe in because all my friends believe in it. It's something that's found in a lot of cultures around the world, but it's essentially this idea that if you have people around you that are envious or jealous and like you say like, oh, I got this good thing, they might send evil eye your way, and like they don't want you to succeed because of their envy, because of their jealousy. Or there's people that just don't like you and don't want to see you succeed. Like I'm just getting bad vibes. If there is somebody around you who you get the sense like, I get the sense to really tell you, really carefully scrutinize and look at the people around you and look at, do they seem like they are happy and successful on their own? Or do they seem like they have some insecurities that would lead them to be envious or jealous? Does this seem like the kind of person that puts down other people around them? Does this seem like the kind of person that is constantly gossiping about others? Somebody that you wouldn't fully trust yourself around? I want to give you advice to stay away from those kinds of people, at least at this moment that you're currently going through, whatever it is, this competitive schooling or starting your business, whatever you're doing. Take a break, take some distance from that person or those people. Like, I can't even explain to you the uncomfortable feeling that I'm getting. Like, I don't feel safe. I don't feel like I can trust. There are people around you who I don't know how far they'd be willing to go, whether they'd be willing to physically do something to sabotage you, or like I just got the idea like maybe you need to send in a letter, like a physical letter, an application to somewhere, and they're like, oh, I'll take it for you, and you give it to them and then they tear it up and they never give it. Like I don't know how willing they're going to go. I wouldn't put any kind of trust like that, especially big trust like an application to somewhere that you really want to go and there's a deadline. Like, make sure you hand that in yourself. There's so many competitive people in the world, and they might seem like really good friends, and maybe you've known them for a long time, but people really change when money gets involved, or especially when, like being a doctor is extremely competitive, and people sink hundreds of thousands of dollars into that schooling. And if there's even a possibility that they might be able to get ahead, or a possibility that they might fail if they can't do some like underhanded kind of stuff, people can really change because of that. And so I want to really ingrain this into you. You don't need to suddenly overnight become extremely distrusting of everybody around you, but maybe hand in those things yourself. Ensure that everything is happening in the way that it needs to. Don't trust anybody to hit submit or hit send on any of the things that you need to submit. Make sure that you are the one in charge of all that. Double check all the details on certain things, especially money management, embezzlement. Like, I'm not saying that that's necessarily going to happen, but these are the kinds of things that I would be paying extreme attention to, because this two-faced friend card, I really get a bad vibe. There could be somebody around you that is not trustworthy. Now, this entire reading is supposed to be messages of encouragement and reassurance. Trust me, I'm going to get there. Like, there are messages of encouragement to you here, but I needed to start with that because there's all this encouragement that you're going in the right direction. You will be successful. And the last thing that I want is for that to be derailed because you were too trusting in somebody. This is just one final thing on this issue that I want to tell you about. Evil eye. Like I said, people sending evil eye your way, sending negative energy your way. If that's something that you don't know a ton about or you don't know how to cleanse, I actually have a video on my channel where I talk about that because I have some close friends that deal with that pretty often. They've got a lot of people around them, a lot of jealous people. In that video, it's called something like Simple Yet Powerful Ways to Cleanse Yourself and Your Home, and it's in a playlist on my channel called Spiritual Stuff. I encourage you to watch that. It's very simple stuff, stuff that you would have in your household that you could probably do today, and it's worth it to just do it like once a month. I have an entire section in that video dedicated to evil eye and how to cleanse that, but I'm just putting that out there. If you don't believe in it, you don't need to do it, but I encourage you. It's always a good idea to make sure that we are spiritually and physically cleansed. So now getting into like the actual positive stuff here. So starting off with Cup and the Money Path card, and also the Angel card, because this is really positive. I'll start with the Cup card. So this one says you should accept valid criticism. There might be people in your life who give you criticism that you didn't ask for, give you advice that you didn't ask for, and it's annoying, especially if what you're doing is something creative. I don't know what you're doing, but if it's a business, like the last thing that you want to hear is unwanted advice about like, they're like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this aesthetic that you're going for. Maybe you should do it like this. And you're just like, this is not your business. This is not your aesthetic. Like, please, I don't need your advice. Like, I'm doing this the way that I want to do this. But that being said, if it's advice you don't resonate with, especially creative stuff, like you don't need to take it. But if there's something valid that's like, hey, I see this area of improvement that actually might boost, I don't know, the amount of traction that you get online. Like it might be worth looking into that. If it's something that feels like, I just don't want to take that advice, then just don't take it. Like you don't need to. I'll tell you about this channel specifically. There's people online that comment all the time about, and they have good intentions, I know. But they'll say like, oh, maybe you should spruce up the background. And for me personally, I'm somebody, I really like a minimal design. I like the plain white background. I like that the only thing that draws in your attention are the cards themselves. That's just the way that I like to do things. Other people, they like to like wave incense in the thing. They like to have like a lot of crystals around, and more power to them. But I do things the way that I want to. Other people do things the way that they want to. And I think there's power in that. I think if everybody did things the exact same way, there'd be no uniqueness. There'd be no reason to subscribe to multiple people. But I stick true to what I want to do. And it's like, thanks for the offer, thanks for the idea, but I'm just going to stick to what I want to do. But some valid criticism that I got is a lot of my videos tend to be very long. And I never really thought before about like doing like super short videos, but I got some advice that there are some people that don't have the time to listen to a 30-minute video. So it might be better to do shorter videos. And at first I was like, don't tell me how to do my thing. But I sat on it and I was like, you know what? It's actually a good idea. And so from then on, like I still do pretty long videos, but every once in a while when I'm feeling like I don't have a ton of energy, I'll do just like a 1 or 2 card reading, or it'll be like a YouTube short and I'll just put it out and it'll be super short. And so I took that advice. So what I'm telling you here is with this Cup card, you should accept valid criticism. Not all criticism is bad. So don't fully shut yourself off to it. Like take in some ideas, take it under advisement, under your own time and say, you know what, is that valid? Is that something that could actually boost me ahead? Is that something that could actually help? If it is, it might be worth taking under advisement. But like I said, there's also going to be a lot of criticism and ideas that you just didn't ask for and don't really care for. So really learn to create your own filter of what am I going to take in, what am I not going to take in, because no matter how hard you try, people are going to throw advice at you as much as they can, even if you don't want it. Like it's just a fact of life, especially if what you do puts yourself out online, or it's like a business or some sort of creative idea. Everybody has an opinion. You don't need to take it. But it is worth like examining different ideas here and there, because for all you know, there might be something that you actually do want to do differently, or something that will help you along. Now with the Money Path and the Angel card, these are the most positive cards here. So the Money Path card says, a path with money is waiting for you to find it. I think there is a lot of opportunity in what you're doing. I think you are destined for success in it. And it's going to be something that takes a lot of hard work. It's going to be something that takes some time, but it is worth pursuing. So if you've been looking for that assurance that you're going in the right direction, keep going, keep putting in the hard work, stay disciplined, keep working towards what you want. You feel this drive within you for a reason, and I think it's something that brings you a lot of joy to do. Maybe it's something, like I said, something creative, and it fills you up. It excites you to be able to pursue it. Continue to do so. It will lead to money. If you've been specifically worried about like financial success, trust me, your path is going to be filled with success. Now, I'm not saying that like overnight you're going to become a millionaire. I think that there's definitely the possibility for that. There's definitely the possibility for you reaching that kind of level of success in anything you do, as long as you continue to pursue it and you stay disciplined. But what I want you to be most assured by is you will be taken care of along this path. Maybe you'll be looking at the numbers and you're like, this isn't the amount that I've been wanting. But the universe will find different ways to support you. And like, I'll give you an example. I'm not necessarily saying that this is going to happen, but I truly believe when you follow your heart, when you follow your purpose, you will be taken care of. And maybe it's not necessarily in the actual thing that you're doing, but maybe you go to the gas station and you get a lottery ticket and you win the lottery. And it's like, okay, I'm taken care of, but it's by a different means. It's like the universe will find a way to provide for you. There will be lots of opportunity along the way to make sure that you are taken care of. So don't let money be the stress that pulls away all of your attention. I think the thing that deserves your attention is the thing that you're working on. This is your baby that you're creating. You deserve to give it 100% of your attention and not the worries. So let that be your assurance. You will be taken care of. Now finally, with the angel card, this one says spiritual guidance, protection from harm. Like I said about the money, how you will be taken care of, I think in other aspects as well, you are being watched over, you are being guided, the universe is rooting for you. I think you have spirit guides that are rooting for you, ancestors that are rooting for you. I wouldn't be surprised if you're seeing a lot of synchronicities right now, because this is something that you're meant to do. This is something that is being very, very supported by the universe. You're in the right path. You're going down the right path. As long as you continue down it, as long as you continue to follow your heart, as long as you continue to follow your intuition and be authentic, you will be taken care of. You will be watched over. You will be guided. But like I said, with the other two cards from the beginning, with the criticism, it's going to be annoying, constantly getting advice that you don't care about, constantly getting criticism that you didn't ask for. But there might be some nuggets of gold along the way. There might be some diamonds in there that's worth examining. And like I said, with the two-faced friend, make sure everything that you're doing, if you need to submit certain things, if you're having dealings with lots of money, make sure that you are paying extra attention to it. Don't just hand it off to somebody and fully be like putting your trust in them. Because I feel like there's people around you that just don't want to watch you succeed. Like I said, don't be completely distrusting of everybody, but put some extra discernment in who you allow to take control of certain career aspects, certain money things, or certain things that need to be submitted, like I said. But pile 3, that is everything that I have for you. I truly wish you the best. I think you're going to have a lot of success in this path, but it's a bumpy road getting there, as is anything that you want to pursue. Nothing is going to be handed to us on a silver platter, but you will be taken care of. I promise you that, and you will reach the success that you're searching for. So, pile 3, that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.